Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do another tag video. This is my second tag video that I'm doing back to back. So this tag was created by Cat L. It's called Luxury Time Machine, The Good and Bad Decisions. And I was tagged by Clara from Clara Zila. Thank you, Clara, for tagging me, and thank you, Cat, for creating this tag. So at first I thought I'd never made a bad decision. First thing that came to my mind that I made a bad decision is I sold a Chanel Jumbo, which I never showed in this channel, but it was sort of a white pearlescent pinkish hue, pinkish grayish hue, caviar leather. It had some minor defects, minor blemishes, not defects, but blemishes. And I just couldn't unsee those blemishes, so I ended up selling it. And I sold it for a profit, actually, so that's good, right? But I miss it. So I think that was a bad decision. A couple more bad decisions I made. One of the other bad decisions that I made is I bought a Chanel mini bag in satin with gold hardware in Paris when my husband and I were honeymooning there. And I went to the Chanel store. It was super crowded at that time. This was in the 80s. So at that time, there were a lot of Japanese tourists, and it was like people were buying 2 to 3 bags at one, and it was like, I don't know, it felt like a super busy grocery store. It wasn't, because it was Chanel, but it felt like people were spending money like it was water. But at that time, we didn't have hardly any money. So but we were in Paris, so I wanted to get something fancy, you know? And I didn't know anything about bags, and I saw the little Chanel bag, and they were asking if I wanted the leather or the satin, and the satin was cheaper. And so I said satin, and I think I paid $5.50 at the time, and I never wore it because one time I saw the satin fabric, like a little bit of fuzz, and I freaked out, and I was like, I cannot wear this satin, it's too delicate. So I think I wore it only a handful of times over the 25 years that I've had it. And then I ended up selling. I did make money, but it was like $300 over 25 years versus if I had gotten a leather bag at that time, then I would have made a lot more money, or maybe I would have used it more. So buying a satin bag, mistake, bad luxury mistake, and that's why I will not buy fabric bags that are not treated or that are, because after that incident, I've learned my lesson. So all those tweed bags and velvet bags, no, they're not for me. Another luxury bad mistake that I made is there's a Tiffany wedding band. It's called Etoile. I saw that and I thought it was so pretty. And I wanted to get it, but it was like $1,000 at the time. And I just didn't want to spend $1,000 on a small little ring. So I didn't buy it. And at the time, the first time I saw it, it was in Aruba. And so I would have been able to buy it tax duty free, and I didn't buy it. And then the next several years later, we went back to Aruba, and it had climbed to $1,800. And of course, by then, I certainly couldn't buy it because I didn't buy it at $1,000, even if I really wanted it. And by then I had a little more money, but I just couldn't. In principle, I couldn't. I could not buy and pay more money for something that I could have gotten cheaper. Ugh, that's the neurotic me, okay? So that was a bad decision. So when I was remaking some of my jewelry, I decided to, have it made from a jewelry piece that I was no longer using. It was less than $1,000. So I guess it turned out okay, but I regretted that not buying it the first time around. So that was a bad decision to not buy it. Okay, so let's talk about the good decision. I think the best decision I made in my luxury time machine, hands down, is the fact that I didn't get into luxury purchasing until I was in my, I think, probably early 50s or late 40s. And before that, I had a piece here and there. And I think for me, that was a good decision because it allowed me to save a lot of money and focus on building my nest egg and in, you know, saving for my children's education, saving for a house and all that basic stuff that we all need without being sidetracked by purchasing a lot of luxury goods. And I know myself, if I started on that road like I am now, more into it, I would have probably spent the money that I probably shouldn't have spent. I didn't spend anything extravagant. All my bags were less than $100. If it was $200, my God, I was spending a lot of money, and I didn't have that many bags. I didn't have hardly any jewelry. So I think that was a good decision. I know some people might say that, you know, you could have got some of these things much cheaper if you bought it earlier. Well, if I live like that, I know myself because I tend to have sort of an obsessive compulsive personality. So if I started on that path, God knows how much money I might have spent that I could have saved. And so because I never started it, I was able to save for a house, save for my children's education, and lots of other things. And when I started my luxury journey, I felt my living situation was very comfortable. So I was not in debt. So I think that's the best decision that I made in my luxury journey. So the good decision that I made is on our 10th wedding anniversary, we went to Aruba again, and we bought Rolex watches. For my husband bought one and I bought one. And I mean, we were so excited to have this fancy piece of jewelry. It's so funny. He and I would go, "Oh, I have a headache." Go like this. It's like, "Oh, I have a headache," you know, over the left hand. "Oh, I have a headache." But for years and years and years, that was my only watch, and I would wear it every single day, and every day. And it didn't keep good time. It was about 4 minutes fast every month. So, and they said that was, you know, acceptable. So I loved wearing that. And I didn't have a lot of jewelry, but that was my one fancy piece of jewelry that I had for many, many years. Now, if you ask my husband, I'm not sure that he would say that was a good decision because he did wear it, but now with the Apple Watch, that's all he wears. So he doesn't wear his Rolex watch, and therefore it's mine. I think that's it for my good, bad, and the ugly of my luxury time machine journey. Thank you so much, Clara, for tagging me. And if you like this video, please give this a thumbs up and click a bell notification so that you'll be notified every time I upload more videos. Okay? And don't forget to subscribe.